by the Blue Moon Guys. We accept full responsibility for lack of self-control during the show and encourage you to let out your crazy, sit back, relax, and let the insanity begin.
Okay, are we live? I think we're live. Yeah, we are. Okay, anybody
Are
see
we
it?
live?
I think we're live. Yeah,
I
we
gotta
are. I need a nap. We got 5 people. Who we got on here? So, howdy, guys. Hey, Susan. Long time no see.
You put your
Anybody
foot
see,
in it right at the get-go.
anybody seen any good interviews lately? Oh, man, we're giddy, man. We're going to have some fun here.
I saw a good one with Piers Morgan and Priscilla earlier.
P&P, Pierce and Priscilla. Hey, purple green. Ooh, look at there. Purple green. No longer disguised under that other name. Lily. Hello, Lily. Nice to see you. Wow, look, we got 8 on. We're ready to have some fun. We got a couple of videos. Okay, that did. Okay, cool. That went there. Now I just need to figure out where I'm going to put it. Okay, so that should have gone in here. There it is. See if that'll upload now. Yeah. Okay, I got a couple cool videos. One is looking. I'm going to show that if we have time or if we have any issues. I got the one with Elvis and the Memphis Mafia. I don't see any problems with showing that one. I don't think we'll have any issues talking about. Well, we got Lori. Hello, Lori. Olga, we're back, guy.
I bet you August had that beer on ice.
Yeah. I bet it's ice cold. Isn't it? That beer ice cold. See, hey, Lori. Oh, well, we'll have to wait till we get in the room to do your. Let's just get over there now. Let's see. Do we have your?
No.
Yeah, we do. Right there.
Okay, you got me back this time.
Okay, I promise you. We've had no smoke, no dope, no nothing. Just a little bit of relaxation and having fun. Like I asked a little bit ago, anybody seen any really good interviews lately? Hey, Tracy, here for the trifecta. Yes. Rick, I'm working out WC. Working out WC by emails active that YT will allow me to join Discord. Okay. It's the trifecta. Yeah, so we got Elvis and Memphis Mafia. It's about an hour video. So we get to, I see no issues with that one at all. It should go nice and smooth. And yes, it's on ice. Just pop the top. And then I've got the Looking for the Colonel, which is actually a pretty cool video. So it ought to get us into some nice discussions. We'll stay away from Miss Presley for today, I guess. It depends. You guys drive the conversation, so. But I tell you what, after that last book chat. Let's see if I can find this here. Edit list. I need to add this in here. This is how I'm feeling. Bird is the word. Is the word. I didn't want to put the whole song. Anyway, sorry about that. Having a little fun. So who we got here? We got 10 people here. Lily. Oh, hey, Rich is with us. Cool. Long time no see. This is going to be fun. Remember, we take no prisoners. That's correct. You guys had some. This was a good chat earlier, man. Nice, Lily. Okay, so I think what we ought to do is just go ahead and get into the first movie here. And it says Elvis and the Memphis Mafia. Okay, what did it just do?
Elvis Presley had a select group of friends he entrusted with his life.
He didn't
Turn off.
like to be around new people. He didn't trust them. He trusted us. We were a source of comfort.
It's not like we were these straight guys with this one freak over here. It wasn't that way. We were all in the boat together in various levels.
We were like a bunch of mob guys, you know. We get in a limousine and take off, get out of the car. It was exciting. And I remember we were in Vegas goofing off one time, and I think there was a reporter there or somebody just wrote an article about Elvis in town and all his boys, and they called us the Memphis Mafia.
Through never-seen-before interviews, this documentary will explore Elvis's life through the eyes of the Memphis Mafia, from the highs to the lows.
One Saturday night, just for the hell of it, I was bored, so I went around the house and I counted all the women that were in the house with us 7 guys. And this is not an exaggeration. There was 152 women there.
Whoa.
I was going to the wrong parties.
Yeah.
Where it got bad enough that just as a human being,
Hello, Elvis and
a
friends.
friend, that you did have to get involved.
Door opened up. Colonel Parker walks up to me and stands and I get up. We stand toe to toe, and he stares coldly into my eyes. He says, "Now you listen to me. The only thing that's important is that man is on stage tonight. Nothing else matters."
Laurie feels like I do.
Elvis Presley is one of the most enduring icons of the 20th century.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of us may have seen this. We do these so we can have a good chat and talk about it. That's one of the reasons why we do these. But so if you've seen it, I'm sorry, but it's fun. This is actually a pretty good documentary. I got another one after this.
One of the most important pioneers of rock and roll music. From his seminal best-selling albums to his star turn in classic Hollywood movies, Elvis's ever-changing career spanned decades as he topped the charts all over the world. And through his soaring highs of the best-selling solo artist of all time, to his struggles with narcotics, the people who knew him best were the Memphis Mafia, a select group of friends and employees he shared his life with.
He was the most generous, the most beautiful, inside and out human being you ever want to meet.
It was hard to believe that this was such a superstar. He was such a natural, good person, attentive, caring, a warm guy. Anyone that came in contact with Elvis was drawn in by him.
There's not a day that goes by I don't think about it.
I wanted to be like him. He was lovable, he was dangerous, everything a young kid would admire.
The world has an image of the king, and rightly so. But behind the image, behind the lights and the makeup and the music, there was a real human being, a real person that had feelings.
Well, the image is one thing, and a human being is another, you know. So.
Before Elvis became the most controversial figure in show business, everything in popular music seemed squeaky clean and well produced. But he shook up the popular culture and paved the way for many generations of superstars to come. Born in 1935 in Tupelo, Mississippi, his twin died at birth, so he became the only child of Gladys Love and Vernon Presley. A solitary child, his classmates often described him as a loner. His life changed on his 11th birthday when he was disappointed not to receive a bike or a rifle, but instead an acoustic guitar, sparking his love of music. At 13 years old, Elvis...
Hard to believe that's the guitar he recorded That's All Right Mama and some of those first songs that Son
Wow.
His family moved to a prominently African-American neighborhood in Memphis. As a result of the depth of his musical influences, in many ways, Memphis was the perfect place to start his incredible and unrivaled career in the music industry. Along the way, picking up his closest friends, the
Thanks for
Memphis
coming by.
Mafia.
Elvis was a bit of a loner back then. He had maybe 3 or 4 friends that lived in the same housing project he did, and primarily was shy, did not really come out of his shell until a couple of talent shows, and the girls started screaming him. I mean, he always liked girls. I mean, I think he had more girlfriends than he had guy friends.
This is Marty Lacker, one of the original members of the Memphis Mafia, who worked for Elvis as a foreman for 16 years and was the best man at his wedding.
But I thought Joe was the foreman.
The way I met Elvis was in the last year of high school at Humes High School in
Joe didn't produce it.
1953. When I moved from New York to Memphis, I still wore the same type of clothes we wore in New York. Back then it was loud color pants and shirts and saddle stitches on the side and what was known as pistol pockets on the back. And you wore your shirt with your collar up and had a pompadour in your hair. And the guys in Memphis my age basically wore Levi's, a t-shirt, and had a crew cut, except one guy, and that was Elvis. And he basically dressed the same way we dressed in New York. And the kids in school used to kid us, you know, asking, well, who's going to outdress who tomorrow?
Elvis's school years weren't easy, as he always stood out. But this would become a benefit in later life.
Yeah, I do too. I like
On
Marty.
July 7th, 1954, a local radio DJ played a recording of Elvis's That's All Right, a cover of an earlier song by blues singer Arthur Crudup.
I remember it explicitly. I was driving down Valentine Avenue here in Memphis with a friend of mine who also went to Humes, and we were listening to Dewey Phillips, as all the kids did back then. And Dewey started going off about, well, I got this brand new record by this boy who is from Humes High School, and both my friend and I looked at each other. We were trying to figure out who it was and played the record, and we thought it was really good. And at the end, he said, Elvis Presley, and it just, you know, it really shocked us. And he played it like 7 or 8 times in a row. He said the response on the telephone was just phenomenal.
The local response was overwhelming, and Elvis became an overnight sensation due to his unique style. Elvis recorded That's All Right and several other songs at Sun Records, an independent record label in Memphis, where he met Lamar Fike.
Sam Phillips had started the label, and the studio was put together on a shoestring. When I was over there that night, I think Scotty and Bill had just left, and Elvis was getting ready to leave, and I walked in, and Sam introduced me to him. And we sat and talked a few minutes, and Elvis said to me, he said, are you coming back? I said, yeah, I guess so. Why? He said, come on back over. He said, I'll be over here again tomorrow night. And so I went over again the next night, and one thing led to the other. It was just a case where I liked him, he liked me, and we would touch base because I graduated in 54. So he graduated in 53, so he had a year run on me. But we would touch base in 55 and 56, and we'd get together. And when he moved over to Alderman Drive, I went over there. I was over there a lot. And so, I mean, we were in and out of each other's lives for about 2 years before I went with him.
Soon after meeting Lamar, he met Jerry Schilling, another key member of the Memphis Mafia.
I met Elvis
Also
in
known as Jerry Phillips?
1954.
What's that?
Also known as Jerry Phillips.
Okay, take smartass.
Growing up in North Memphis, I went to the local park one day. It's called Dave Wells Community Center, Guthrie Park. There was a little school called Guthrie. And sometimes people would play basketball, football, or whatever. It was the only kind of park to go to. I went there this Sunday, and there were 5 older boys trying to get up a 6th player to play football. And one of the older guys was a friend of my older brother's, Red West. And he said, Jerry, do you want to play with us? Because I played grade school football in Redmond. I did. And I said, sure. Little kids always like to play with the older guys. And we went in the huddle, and I saw this guy.
You see that from Tracy?
This was the week that Dewey Phillips had played That's All Right, Mama, the very first time. I had been listening to Dewey Phillips for 2 years, ever since I was 10 years old. And I looked and I knew who it was. It was Elvis Presley.
Elvis's career was flourishing. So naturally, he sought after a new manager who could deal with his rise to fame. Colonel Thomas Parker, a controversial figure in Elvis's life.
Who?
He then signed with RCA, which helped him become a national star and brought his distinctive style of rock and roll to the masses. Riding off the back of becoming a household name, Elvis decided to take his talents to the movie industry, starring in films such as Love Me Tender, Loving You, and King Creole, which catapulted him into being one of the biggest stars in the world. As well as taking over people's radios and TV screens, in March 1957, Elvis returned to Memphis to purchase his iconic home, former church, renovated into a 23-room mansion, Graceland, a place where he and the Memphis Mafia could spend the majority of their time off, and Elvis's home for 20 years. However,
yeah, this is kind of not exactly to details on some of the things. It's moreover just kind of like a quick Cliff Notes type of.
In December 1957, Elvis received his draft notice to join the Army. This came as a shock to both him and his fans, who were devastated he would be taking time away from the music and film industries, as it was often hard for artists to regain the star power they once had after time in the Army. Nevertheless, in a day known to his fans as Black Monday, Elvis reported for duty in March 1958.
Elvis Presley no longer has that rock and roll beat. The tempo is hut 2 3 4 for Private Presley. He's at Camp Chaffee, Arkansas, beginning his 2-year Army hitch courtesy of the Memphis Draft Board. Like any ex-civilian raw recruit, the king of rock and roll will be keeping time to non-hip bugle calls. Involuntarily retired, the gyrating guitarist's departure from the public eye left his blue jean fans all shook up, so we hear. But Elvis doesn't.
He didn't wear blue jean pants around.
No.
Seem to mind all.
Yeah, I got drafted in the Army same time Elvis did. I went to Fort Hood, Texas. Elvis came to Fort Hood, Texas for.
Now we're going to get the facts.
Didn't meet him there. I saw him a couple times, but that was it. Then I went to Friedberg, Germany, and I was there for about 30 days. Then we heard the rumor that Elvis was coming to our base. So one night I was working late in the office with my friend George DiDemizio and my partner. I was a finance clerk for the Army. I lucked out. And we see all these people starting to gather up around outside the gates of the camp. And I asked George, what's going on? He says, well, we heard Elvis is coming to our base tonight.
You know, I could actually take some of these comments like Gary and make one of those blooper reels. Goodness. I could take his comments, I could take Glory Geller's, all these stupid, dumb comments, and just do like I did with our blooper reel and just make them look like I gotta do that.
And all of a sudden, about 8 o'clock at night, buses come in with all these troops, and kids are screaming and yelling, and Elvis was on the bus somewhere. It was a little tougher for him to be in the Army because everybody was watching him, and they were keeping an eye on him to make sure he did a good job and make sure he didn't goof off. So it was tougher for him than a lot of the other GIs.
Elvis,
very true, Joe.
Army, have the boys giving you kind of a rough
What's that?
I say, no, you're right, Joe. Very true.
time in the barracks because of your past career, would you say?
No, sir, I was very surprised. I've never met
That's got to be coming from the video.
a better group of boys in my life.
Yeah.
They probably would have if it'd been like everybody thought. I mean, everybody thought I wouldn't I wouldn't have to work, and I would be given special treatment and this and that.
Jesus.
But when they looked around and
I
saw
hate
I
static.
was on KP and I was pulling guard and everything just like they were, well, they figured, well, it's just like us.
It was in the Army that Elvis met Joe Esposito, another key member of the Memphis Mafia.
The foreman.
While I was in Germany, this one gentleman,
Here we
his
go.
name is Wes Daniels, he was a photographer for the Army. He was in the Army too, and he was assigned to take pictures of Elvis for promotional, for PR for the Army. Elvis and a bunch of his Army buddies plays football on the weekends near his house. And Wes Daniels asked me one day, so we need some more players. Would you like to go play football and meet Elvis? I said, I would love to. And that's how it all started. I went to his house in Bad Nauheim, and I was introduced to him at that time.
During his time in Germany, Elvis was introduced to Priscilla Bellew, the 14-year-old daughter of an Army officer.
Notice how he puts the emphasis on 14-year-old daughter.
First time he met Priscilla happened to be at the house that evening when she was introduced to him. When she walked in the door, I mean, very pretty young lady, but I didn't know how old she was at the time. And I figured she was about 16, but at the time she was 14, I find out later.
Well,
But
that's
she
a
was
huge
very
difference.
mature, very quiet at first, because naturally walked in the room with all these guys in there. And then Elvis, you know, I mean, that's a pretty tough situation to be in.
Then the fear
Yeah.
started. It just scared me to the point where I couldn't even breathe. It was just, you know, she was just turned 14 and kind of uneasy. You know, I told him, I told him one night, I said, I think we're all going to die. And he said, what do you mean? I said, if they catch you with this girl, I said, it's over with. And it didn't bother him, but we kept him so
come
secure
on.
that he was able to do what he did. But it was stretching, and it was very nerve-wracking. And I took her home to make sure that, you know, she came home with me and not with him and stuff like that. The diversions were quite unique. It was a case of where one of us would be with her as opposed to him. You had to do that, you know. It was so scary. You know, I had dreams of Jerry Lee Lewis and all the stuff was going on with him, and I said, you don't need this problem, you know, but it didn't make any difference to him.
I don't believe that for a frickin' minute. I don't believe that he was the big fatherly advisor. Do you think he seriously would go up to Elvis and say, tell him what he should be doing?
Elvis would have told him straight, get the fuck out.
Lamar was too busy in the kitchen eating the whole cake and pie.
I think that it was a point of manipulation. I think he could do more with a younger girl than he could a woman who had some sort of sophistication. He didn't like anybody his own age. Some woman who really was wise or had some sort of intelligence about her, he didn't like her. It bothered him. He wouldn't fool with her.
Elvis left the Army in 1960. His train was mobbed by screaming fans practically the entire way.
At Fort Dix, New Jersey, Sergeant Elvis Presley is mustered out after 2 years of Army service. The rock and roll idol of millions is back on the scene.
Any romance, did you leave any heart, shall we say, in Germany? Not any special one. There was a little girl that I was seeing quite often over there that her father was in the Air Force, and she was at the airport when I left. And there were some pictures made of her, but it was no big romance. I mean, the stories came out, the girl he left behind and all that. It wasn't like that. I mean,
You see the look on her mother. Her mother was saying, so her daughter's 14 years old. And I'm sorry for stopping this and making comments like this, but this is what bugs me about this stuff. I mean, this is very amateurish type of documentary because there's this stuff, like Graceland was a church before and all that. But if you look, see if I can go back just a hair. It's really hard to. Okay, look at the expression on Priscilla's mother's
I think he
face.
could do more with a younger girl than he could a woman who had some sort of sophistication. He didn't like anybody his own age. Some woman who really was wise or had some sort of intelligence about her, he didn't like her. It bothered him. He wouldn't fool with her.
Elvis left the Army in 1960. His train was mobbed by screaming fans practically the entire way.
I know you just...
At Fort Dix, New Jersey, Sergeant Elvis Presley is mustered out after 2 years of Army service. The rock and roll idol of millions is back on the scene.
Any romance? Did you leave any heart, shall we say, in Germany? Not any special one. There was a little girl that I was seeing quite often over there.
Okay, so when it gets to her and her mother's standing next to her, I want you to look at the expression on her face, like she's just watch it. I'm going to tell you what I think personally is going through her mind. One of two things.
That, her father was in the Air Force, and she was at the airport when I left. And
look at what
there were some pictures made of her, but there was no big romance. I mean, the stories came out. The girl he left behind, and all that. It wasn't like that. I mean,
look how giddy she looked. So I'm sitting there thinking, her mother's going, one of two things: oh, good, he's gone, or oh, good, we've got him hook, line, and sinker. I don't know.
I think it was option 2.
Yeah, I'll tell me what you think. I bet her mom leaked to the report. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Elvis's time in the Army deeply affected the rest of his life. While he was away, Colonel Parker continued to release previously recorded tracks as singles. It was during this time that the most important person in his life, his mother, passed away. He was never the same again. With his fans excited to see what he would do next, Colonel Parker had arranged for a bigger push into Hollywood.
I understand that you want to become a dramatic actor, is that right?
Well, so that's my big ambition now. It takes a lot of time, a lot of experience, but I hope I'll make it. I mean, that's what I want to do.
It was by this time Elvis had put together his insular team of friends and employees that he trusted, known as the Memphis Mafia, who came with him to Hollywood.
He had come out of the Army. When he came out, he was a bit changed. He was more polished.
I like that picture.
That's a great picture.
Cummerbunds and...
He just finished his opening night.
Yeah, I really like that picture. Of all the pictures of that time period, that one's probably my favorite.
Yeah.
Tuxedo jackets and ascots. And his outlook was a little different on life and the way he handled it. And I think part of that change also is because his mother was gone.
He had time to think in the Army, and he came out, and Colonel had made it possible in Elvis's mind that he had a career when he came back from the Army. Normally,
so true.
Entertainer went in the Army to careers.
I just think
Colonel kept movies being released
as far as the timeline
out, and he had these long-term contracts, which looked really good in the beginning.
The movie years were the best years that I spent with him. They were not only the first years I spent with him, but they just far outweigh the touring.
In those days, we were never bored. Something always exciting, something new every day. It was always different. It was never the 9-to-5 situation. We were on the movie sets. We used to have fun. Elvis was very easy to work with on the set, and he was very nice to all the crew people. They loved him a lot because he was very cooperative, and everybody was yes, sir, no, sir. And it was fun. It was just a lot, but movie sets are boring, though, too. You know, you sit around, you know, shoot one scene, and you sit for another hour and a half, wait until the next scene.
Okay, so he just contradicted himself. It's fun on the movie sets, doing all that. We were just having a lot of fun. Now he's saying it's boring. You have to do a scene in it. Maybe I'm just being, I don't know, Joe Schmo.
So we played cards, a lot of the guys. Elvis would talk to the co-stars. He'd be in the bedroom talking, the dressing room talking to the co-stars. And we'd play poker between takes and talk to the extras and hang out. It was one big
you're right,
party.
Tracy. You know, it wouldn't have bothered me if he had never toured again. I mean, if he had just kept, but he wanted to make other movies, and he should have. He should have had more drama, because you see King Creole and Jailhouse Rock, you know he can carry a drama. He can carry a role of heavy drama.
It was a nervous time. I mean, you know, you grow up and you think that Cary Grant's head is probably 6 feet high and 3 feet wide or something, you know, and when you see him, he's much more normal, and then but you're around all these stars you've grown up with. It's hard to be.
Hey, Jack.
You can be as normal as you can.
Nice to see Jack here.
That was, of course, you know, in '57, Jailhouse Rock.
I told you about Jack.
The studio system was still going, but it was in its last throes.
It was all new to us, so it was exciting times. Every day was an excitement. Got up, you felt great going to the movie set, and you know, like I say, we did different celebrities would come visit Elvis on the set. You know, Warren Beatty, Gene Simmons. They all wanted to come and say hello to Elvis because he got back out of the service. And
good to see you, buddy.
I was very impressed.
When Elvis would get a script, he'd say, "Here we go again, man. Only this time I'm gonna be in Acapulco. I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna be up in Seattle or something." He really enjoyed Las Vegas, Viva Las Vegas, because of Ann Margaret. He enjoyed that.
1963, Elvis is getting ready to do Viva Las Vegas. And Elvis's co-star was Ann Margaret. And at that time, Ann Margaret was considered like the female Elvis Presley. We'd never met her before and didn't know what to expect. And she came on to the studio one time to meet Elvis and meet everybody. And she was awesome. You could just tell her personality just fit in with us easy.
Well, welcome.
She was so nice to everybody, had a great smile, very upbeat all the time. And her and Elvis just clicked. It was the chemistry was there between the two of them.
Is that what they call it? Click as opposed to boinking, banging, and what was the other one? Blinking. Well, unfortunately, she's getting more than one line this time. Some of the other documentaries, she just gets one quick line.
And that movie was probably one of the best experiences of making a movie as far as having a good time out of all the movies.
Colonel Parker signed Elvis up for as many films as he could, often formulaic musical comedies. And despite awkward receptions, they were almost all successes.
That would be Joe, Laurie.
About it, and he said, "I want to do some real good scripts." And he said, "I don't know, I've got these contracts." And we would say to Elvis, so many stars have script approval. Can't you get that in your contract? He said, "Yeah, I probably could, but I've got these long-term contracts. When they're up." And
are you freaking kidding me? There we go. Look at that. Found it right away.
He said, "Yeah, I probably could, but I've got these long-term contracts. When they're up."
I got to figure out why he's doing this.
That's what he said he was going to do. When they're up and I finish my contract obligations, then it's going to change.
I love this fight scene.
Elvis was getting older, understanding the business, outgrowing the Colonel. He started questioning these things.
After several more years of success in both the film and music industries, Elvis decided to marry Priscilla in a small ceremony on the 1st of May, 1967, at the Aladdin Hotel in Las Vegas. The wedding was arranged by Parker to maximize publicity and featured very few guests, so was over in only 8 minutes. It was followed by a press conference and a $10,000 breakfast reception. The wedding caused arguments between Elvis and several of the Memphis Mafia, who were not invited to the ceremony. Some of them even claimed he didn't want to marry her, but was forced to by Priscilla, or she would tell people about the fact they dated when she was underage.
So dramatic.
Elvis and Priscilla went on to have a baby girl, Lisa Marie, 1 year later.
Priscilla was
Who wrote this voiceover script?
Or somewhere, because she had to still go to school. And that's, I think, where Elvis made the deal. That if he'd bring her over here, that he would probably, his plans were to marry her.
Yeah.
Elvis was forced to
That
decide
really
to marry.
probably where it all came about. That he
Good
had,
way to
because he
put it.
didn't want to marry.
I got to tell you, Lamar Fike, he lost a lot of weight because he looks nothing like he did back in the 60s and all that. Doesn't
No,
even look like the same guy.
no.
He's still
He
the same
was,
bullshitter though, but he's still I'll give him credit. He lost all that weight and he does look a whole lot better than he did when he was,
he, lo-
a
he
jab at
looked,
the head.
but you could see he was, I'm surprised. And I mean this, I'm not even being nasty when I say this, but I'm surprised he lived as long as he did. I
Yeah.
mean, having to carry all that weight around couldn't have been,
And all the antics that they got up to.
yeah, no,
He's a lucky guy. He lived as
He
long
just didn't want to be married. He wasn't ready for it.
But Elvis had become unsatisfied with his career, and his life was becoming more hedonistic as he enjoyed the Hollywood lifestyle, drugs, and affairs.
In the movie
really?
years, the drugs were in control. The sleeping pills and the uppers for the energy level, those were just taken. In fact, some of us that took them, I couldn't take them every day. Not to be the goody-goody, but I just couldn't take that pill because I knew what it was going to do to me. Make my mouth dry. It was just going to make me wired all day, and I just didn't want to do it. But I had to take them sometimes because he would stay up to 3 o'clock in the morning, 2:30, 3 o'clock, and we get up at 5 to go on location. And I learned from the very start, I sleep when he sleeps.
Elvis, one weekend, he kept saying, we got to go do something this week. He said, let's go to Vegas. Well, I never been to Vegas.
it
A
was
lot of the other
Joe's
guys
idea.
never been to Vegas. So he said, okay, let's go. And we just did this for a week, 10 days. Elvis said, okay, we got to get out of here. We got to go back to L.A. And we get in the car, start driving. I said, Elvis, why do we have to go back now? He said, well, I don't know. I just thought we'd been here too long. He said, let's go back. We turn around and go right back. We stayed 2 or 3 weeks at a time and just party. And one time, I forget, we were going so hard that Elvis started getting a bloody nose. And we went to the doctor, and the doctor said, you guys need to get some rest. His resistance was getting down, and he kept getting a bloody nose, so we had to rest for a couple of days. But we did party quite a bit. You know, we were making movies, 3 movies a year there. And, you know, movie, you have to get up early. You have to be at makeup like 5:30, 6 o'clock. But we were young, okay? And we liked to have parties late at night. A lot of the dancers from the movies, the extras, pretty girls, we'd all come up to the house and just sit around, talk, listen to music. We had a swimming pool and stuff. We didn't go to bed till, 2 o'clock in the
I never
evening.
heard
And
that
it
one, Lori. I
was
don't know.
tiring after a while. And so we'd take a little speed to stay up the next day. And a lot of times we couldn't go to sleep because we were high and we had to take a sleep pill to go to sleep. And we lived that way for a long time.
It was just sort of like having ham and eggs or something. You just did it. There wasn't any big deal about it. I mean, nobody knew anything. Just like I told you, it all goes back to that original thing. Nobody knew anything. You just did it. It was a magic potion, so to speak. It really was. It kept us going.
But see, in his mind were not illegal drugs. These were prescription drugs. Now, the doctor's writing them for him. He's abusing them, but they're not illegal drugs in his mind. But he wants to stop the people out on the street getting heroin and cocaine to young people and trying to influence them to get on to drugs and things of that nature. So that's what it was in his mind. As intelligent as Elvis was in so many ways, he was naive in thinking that there were separate issues there, because there really wasn't.
It's called a recreation drug. Well, I mean, how much recreation can you do?
We used to have a thing, in fact, on Paramount, on GI Blues, they had a club scene in there, and he'd kept us up late, and I just couldn't stay awake, and I had to take.
So are they inferring that they were doing recreational drugs too?
Mm-hmm.
Get anything, so I went over to a dead set and got in
There you
the
are.
booth there in the nightclub set, and they were shooting on another one, and laid down on the booth to get some sleep. And one of the crew guys up on the catwalk just pointed me out to Elvis. I found out later, he pointed me out. Said, like that. And Elvis came around when he got through with his business. He came around and looked for me. And he saw me through there because there was a couple of tables stacked up, and I kind of put a little camouflage so I couldn't be seen easy. Oh, man. He threw that table and chair, and I woke up straight up. He said, damn you, Sonny, I told you, you sleep when I sleep.
You know, Elvis was a pretty even-tempered guy, but when he did something flared up and got mad, he had a bad temper. I mean, that was the difference to him. It was no in-betweens. He was really the nicest guy in the world, or sometimes he would snap and just have a real bad temper, and he'd scare the hell out of you sometimes. There was one instance I remember during the movie Wild in the Country. Christina Crawford, Joan Crawford's daughter, was one of the co-stars in the movie. Well, we became friends, and I invited her up to the house one evening to hang out, you know. Elvis knew
That
she
music's gotta go.
So we're sitting there watching a little TV and sitting on the couch, and
It's better than that other music.
away, and
I feel like I'm in a detective movie. What do they call them? Where it stops and the detective's narrating over the. Brent probably knows what they noir N-O-I-R-E, something like that. I can't even pronounce it. So the music's in the background, the thing's going, all of a sudden it stops and the guy turns around and starts narrating what's going to happen next. Then it goes, it's fucking stupid.
Just remember that.
Everybody have to understand what I'm saying.
No.
I can't
Elvis would
understand what I'm
smoke
saying.
cigars once in a while, so he picked up a cigar to smoke. Take a cigar, and
Noir, yeah,
I reached
noir
over and lit a
detective.
cigar for him. And she pulled my hand away from him. I went to do it again, and she pulled the cigar out of Elvis's mouth. She says, "Oh, you shouldn't have to light a cigar." And I say, "Hey, don't do that." So Elvis really got mad. He got up, and he grabbed her by the hair and pulled her across the coffee
This
table,
one I've heard
which
before.
scared the hell out of me and everybody else, and they were really in shock. And he said, "Get her out of here. Take her home."
Well, women are always the greatest distraction in the world for rock and roll. It's a pleasant distraction. I say that in all candor because it's what makes it go.
We had a lot of girls on the sets that we worked. Elvis liked them because they inspired him doing his numbers in the movie. He had several of them that a nucleus type thing that he wanted, and he wanted them where he was going to be working, sitting at tables so he could see them. Because they really liked him, he liked them, and they inspired him with their laughing and their cutting up with him.
It's moths to a flame, I think. It goes back to that same premise. They're attracted to somebody like him. And, I think two things got wealth and looks, they're really going to come. And they're going to come fast and hard.
Just for the hell of it, one Saturday night, at a time when there was only 7 of us, including Elvis.
Only 7.
See, on Friday night and Saturday night, Elvis used to let all the girls in that hung around the gates.
Still better than that music they
One
used in that
Saturday
other
night, just for
film.
the hell of it, I was bored, so I went around the house and I
Yeah,
counted.
see, that's what I heard too, Tracy. And I don't know who's the story, where I read it or I heard the story. I think I read it. But yeah, she threw a drink on Elvis, right? She was mental, anyways. I think, supposedly she got really abused by her mother.
All the women
Oh.
that were in the house with us 7 guys. And this is not an exaggeration. There was 152 women there.
What you have to do is on a continual basis weed them out because you got to weed the squirrels out from the lambs. And the squirrels cause you more trouble than a lamb ever caused.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah.
Not because they eat a lot of nuts, but it's because they're crazy. And this is the problem. So you have to sort of check them out.
We had friendships with them. There wasn't really anything really happening. A lot of them were married, just working extra, but they just enjoyed being around Elvis and us guys just to talk. And then there were some that we had affairs with. But the thing with Elvis is he had his own thing going with his co-stars, And in Vegas, the same thing. He had ladies there also that he would bring in. He'd take them on tour. He'd meet them in Vegas, Lake Tahoe.
Yeah, see, now I'm starting to get a little irritated with this, what these guys are saying too, because I mean, I'm not going to get as heated as I did with today's interview, but oh my God, these guys, they're just rolling off their tongues as if it's just, another day in paradise.
Yeah.
He spotted one there. She was very pretty. We're walking off the stage after he finished his number. "Sonny, did you see that girl?" I said, "I got her covered, boss." I knew exactly which one he was talking about. So I went back out there. Her name was Paige. I asked her, I said, Paige, and at the time I introduced myself, she told me her name. I said, Paige, would you like to meet Elvis? She looked at me and she said, how would I meet him? I said, well, I work for him. And I said, he asked me if he could, if you'd like to come backstage and say hi to him. And she said, yes. I took her back there. And she was as sweet and wonderful as she could be, and Elvis just flipped over. He really liked her.
Elvis was he just loved women. It wasn't a case of, he just didn't think anything about it. It was just like having a cup of coffee in the morning.
This passion for excess was giving Elvis and the Memphis Mafia a reputation. But it was at this point a new controversial figure entered Elvis's life. Larry Geller. He soon joined the group. A Hollywood hairdresser, Larry was a different fit from the others.
I mean, I thought I was different. Larry was a strange bird for our group, you know.
I
That
get the
probably took a lot of
impression that
pressure off
the rest
me
of the guys
compared
did
to-
not
I
like
look
Larry
like
at all.
Voice.
I was cutting and styling the singer Johnny Rivers. He was in my chair, and my phone rang, and I answered it, and it was one of Elvis's aides, a fellow by the name of Alan Fortas. And Alan said to me, Larry, Elvis heard about your work, and he would like you to come up to his house to do his hair. I said, great. Now, at that time, my clientele was some of the biggest stars in Hollywood. And every day I was mingling with them, and some of them were my friends, and it became almost second nature. But the idea of meeting Elvis, the king, the legend, blew my mind. I was very excited. So I drove up to his home in Bel Air, in Perugia Way, and outside of his house there were at least 100 people. So I drove into the car compound, walked into the house, and Elvis got up and walked up to me, and he said to me, come on, man, let's go into my bathroom. You can do my
And he
hair,
has
we
a
can talk.
photographic
I said,
memory.
okay. We walked into his bathroom, and I expected to see a luxurious salon-type chair. Nothing of the kind. Elvis walked over to the basin. He said, come on, man, let's just wash my hair right here. So he put his head down into the basin. I started to shampoo his hair, and I'm rinsing his hair and the shampoo out. And all of a sudden, he reared his head up and started shaking, and water splattering everywhere on me, on him, and he's drenched. And he looked at me and he smiled and he said, hey, man, what the hell? At least it's clean.
And then right before I left the room, I laid my hand on top of his head so I could touch him, be the last person to touch him as I left the room.
And I remember thinking, this guy's very down to earth. And
You know,
I proceeded.
like I said, I've said it before. Larry Geller was probably good for Elvis at that time as a person to talk to about spiritual stuff and get his hair cut. But as soon as Elvis died, Larry Geller has played it up as much as he could. And he's turned little things into freaking 2-hour movies for every freaking little story. He's just so full of shit.
To style his hair. And not a word was said for about 45 minutes. And I can see Elvis's eyes in the mirror just following every move I made.
Oh my
And I said, so what do you think, Elvis? And he said, oh, great, great, great. And he swirled around in his chair. He looked and said, but I want to ask you a question. My hair is great, but what's more important to me is this. What are you really into, Larry? What are you really all about? It really threw me for a loss for a moment. I mean, here's a person who was totally straightforward.
That music.
And I said, Elvis, I mean, you know that I work with celebrities and I do their hair. This is what I do for a living. But what's more important to me than anything else is my search for truth, to find the purpose for living. I said, look, I know you're Elvis Presley. You're the biggest star in the world. I know this must sound corny to you. He said, wait a minute.
Rick.
Wait.
And
That's
the
not
Academy
corny
Award
at
goes
all.
to.
You have no idea.
Here's
I need
Brent,
to hear
track
what you have to
21, the
say
Larry
about this.
Geller
Please, man.
Overture.
Just keep on going. And I did. I told him about my earlier life and how I began my search. I told him about the books I read, about my interests in all the various great world religions.
That's
my interest in yoga, my interest in health foods and being healthy. This
and
led
this
us
all
into
occurred in Elvis's bathroom.
a
Yeah,
conversation that went on
and
for the
that
next 3
after a
hours.
haircut.
And at that point, Elvis said to me, you know, Larry, what you have to say, what you're talking about, this is what I secretly think about. I mean, I have no one to really talk to about these things, but I think about it, especially at night when I'm going to bed. There's got to be a reason, a purpose why I was plucked out of all the millions and millions of lives to be Elvis. There's no coincidences. There's got to be a reason. He said, man, I was brought up in the church and in the deep South, and they used to preach fire and brimstone. He said, hey, don't get me wrong now. I always knew there was a truth to my religion. There was something there. I just didn't care for the fear they would instill in people. But I always felt there was a God. My mom taught me that. And there's a reason for everything that happens in life. And so we got into a deeper conversation about his life and about growing up in Tupelo, Mississippi, and about his twin brother.
It goes deeper?
This by far makes up for that freaking interview today. This is just hilarious. I mean, I can't. The freaking music is just unbelievable.
Sorry, I thought of this just a couple of seconds ago while Larry was yattering on. I tell you, Larry was closer to Elvis than Elvis's own left nut. I tell you, Larry was there for everything.
Yeah, he did have these guys. Like I said before, I don't doubt that during that time, Larry and of course JD and Ed Parker were good people for Elvis to talk to, and because they were obviously a mature type of voice. But JD and Ed Parker never relayed their conversations in a 2-hour drama with a score written by John Williams. It's just it's freaking nuts. He just makes himself look like he's so full of shit with the drama. Like still gets me the one when he's sitting there saying, and before they lowered the lid on the casket, I stepped my hand in real quick and I touched his forehead. I wanted to be the last person. And you can hear the theme from Star Wars.
Who was stillborn.
I'm sorry.
Man, I'm the one who survived. There's got to be a reason why I survived. And my brother, Jesse Garin, didn't. I used to ask my mom and my dad about it.
I know
there's a reason. There's a reason for it. That first night with Elvis changed both of our lives. At the end of the 3 hours, I said, Elvis, I have to get back to my shop. He said, well, why don't you go back there? And why don't you tell them that you quit? What do you think? You work for me full time because you can bring me books, we can talk about these things. And I didn't have to think much longer about it. I said, yes. And I met the guys that worked for Elvis, and I liked them. They were different from me. I mean, I came from another universe, another planet, another culture.
The first piece of truth I've ever heard Larry speak.
And I was the only person from Southern California. Everyone else came from Memphis, except for one other fellow, Joe Esposito, who was from Chicago. So there was a big difference culturally between Larry Geller and the Memphis Mafia. And here I am being blended and brought into this Elvis family.
When Larry Geller came on board to be Elvis's barber,
my God, can you imagine
Larry was very nice
Geller
at first. We didn't know too much about him.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a Los Angeles guy. He was a hairdresser. He was introduced to us by Elvis's barber before him. And he was very pleasant and nice. But then we didn't realize that Larry was very much into different kinds of religions, different ideas about life and philosophies of life. Elvis and Larry talked a lot together, hours and hours on end. It was not something I was interested in. I wasn't interested in all these different philosophies of life and why we're here and all that stuff. I didn't care. I was just having a good time. But they spent a lot of time talking about that, and Elvis really got into it. And Elvis started reading books about different religions. He got into all religions. He just wanted to know about all different kinds of aspects of life. He was always searching for something. We didn't know what it was, but as life went on, we realized that he wanted to know why he was here. Why was he picked to be this person that everybody loves? Why did he get all this talent? So they talked about that for many, many nights on end and days on end.
My take on Larry Geller, basically at first he seemed like a nice guy. Larry was very quiet spoken, but then he started introducing his Far East and what I call California cult crap. And he started talking to Elvis about it. And Elvis, because there always was a tinge of boredom as far as Elvis was concerned. And Elvis was, was interested because it gave him something new. And as the years went by, I started calling Larry the Swami because first of all, I don't trust people like that. I think they're full of and I think they have an ulterior motive, which Larry started coming out a little bit on a bus trip out to California. He started talking to Elvis about becoming a religious messenger. And I told Larry, I said, that's not what Elvis is. I said, Elvis's message is in his music.
Although Larry brought a spirituality to Elvis, it didn't save him from his downward spiral. A mixture of drugs and constantly being in the public eye was making Elvis paranoid. He even carried a gun in his boots on stage, as he was scared of an assassination attempt.
When the death threats first start happening, they just kind of snowball. We try to keep them quiet because we don't want the copycats, okay? So we kept these things quiet, and it worked. We had bomb threats. Most people will say, we had a bomb threat at the show, and all of a sudden the papers and people, we kept it quiet because we didn't want to have a bomb threat at every venue we played because we had one at the last one. So someone's going to call in another one at the next one.
We used to joke because he used to have a gun here and a gun here and a gun here and a gun in his boot.
I got to pause this. One time Elvis blew his nose, and it was a secret note that's not in the musical scale. And the ceiling opened up, and Jesus and Odin came down and anointed us both. Then Thor gave me a reach around. Where have we wandered off to here? Lily goes, "You're killing me, Jack." That's got to be the best one I've seen in a while.
Oh my God.
And the problem is I envisioned the whole thing. Oh, God.
Oh my goodness, and I'm a picture person.
Tracy goes, "Jack, you're in our gang." Kirsty, what a wonderful story, Jack. Here's look at C-Cat. Oh, this is great. I love it. And Joe played the triangle with the Holy Spirit. Lily goes, "You need to join us more often."
Oh my God.
Holy shit.
Oh, I'm literally crying. Oh.
We lost 2 viewers, and I don't give a shit. It was
and a gun in his back, and he'd just go out to go to the movies. Plus, some of us had guns. He made sure that, we were all armed because he didn't want to take any chances.
When I called him from L.A. when we were going to do that last tour, I said, "You just need to shut it down." I said, "The tour." I said, "Cut it off. Let's just, I said, let's just cancel this tour out, and he said, Lamar, I've got a payroll.
I don't believe you said that.
Which, you know, when you say that, you go, well.
Oh, no, Jack,
he's
no
right.
need to apologize.
But at the same time, I told him, I said, listen, I said, you got 2 or 3 guys around here.
That's why we do
We'll
it.
go to Hawaii with you. And I said, we'll hang out, and you just, you know, and you can get yourself back together again. He said, let's talk about that after this tour's over. It sounds like a good idea.
You need to write us to
He
see
didn't make
people.
His fans were getting tired of his recent work. With his films failing to do well at the box office and his albums receiving poor sales and
I need to start coming up with a viewer of the day, the chatter of the day.
Jack, we don't take prisoners. No, Jack just breaks down the prison altogether. With Thor.
responses. So Colonel Parker arranged some comeback shows in Las Vegas, which helped bring him into the spotlight once again. It turned out these were actually all just to cover Parker's gambling debts. Getting more isolated, he relied closely on those he trusted in the Memphis Mafia.
One
Maybe
night,
that's why Elvis kept them around.
I walked down to the casino. I just left Elvis.
Here we go.
This was after his show. And I noticed there was a large group of people roped off.
What?
And they were all in front of a table.
You see what happened to John Lennon, so you see what could happen. I think I'm missing the point on that one.
Yeah.
You see, oh, yeah. He got shot. That's right. You're talking about assassin. Yeah, I mean, definitely. John Lennon, the only difference between that is of course, Elvis could have been shot anytime, but it seemed like anywhere Elvis went, he had so many people around him. But, you know, you're right. That's a good point. You never know.
Watching someone gamble, and as I walked up, it was Colonel Parker by himself at the table with stacks of chips. And he was playing the sucker's game of all games. It was called the Wheel of Fortune. And the odds of winning that game are the worst.
It was the
Better
Wheel
to play
of Fortune.
craps or blackjack. At any rate, he's at the table and he spots me in the crowd. Larry, he said, come on, come here. Sit next to me. He said, I'm not doing too well. I need some luck. Give me some good thoughts, Larry. I said, okay, Colonel, and I felt so uncomfortable. I really did. After about 5-10 minutes, I said, Colonel, maybe you'll do better now. I hope you will, but I have to get back upstairs because Elvis needs me. I told him I was just going to walk down for a few minutes. So I left. The Colonel was there for hours upon hours upon hours until like 5 o'clock in the morning, and he lost $1.5 million that night. When Elvis found out about it, he couldn't believe it. He said, $1.5 million. That's obscene. Most people don't earn that kind of money working their whole life.
One person says it's 500,000. He says $1.5 million. What does Joe say? I don't know what Joe says.
No, Joe probably say it's something like 750.
Well, I know that he gambled all of his money away. I mean,
that's common. That's common knowledge.
Yeah, that's common knowledge. You know, that video that other video that I want to show today has video of him sitting there cramming quarters or coins into the slot machines one after the other. It's him. It's actually Parker doing it. It's kind of interesting.
And he goes and squanders money like that? He said, oh yeah, he can do it because he's got me. I'm his ransom. What's going to happen is he's going to have to turn around, make a damn deal with me coming back to Vegas, which I don't like Vegas. This is Sin City, man. I don't like it here. I'm never going to come back here again.
I think Elvis has given up on some of his dreams. When I saw the CBS special, I was shocked and I was pissed. I called him and I went and met with him. How could you let him be on camera like that? And he said, well, you're a manager, because I managed the Beach Boys at this time. You're a manager, you have to give the artist offers. I said, how could you? He said, I put an offer out there that was ridiculous. And CBS came back with it. And I took it to Elvis, and he wanted to do it.
Elvis had a tremendous draw to him emotionally and physically, where you looked at him and you thought, that is probably about the best looking man I've ever seen, you know. And he just had a charisma about him. He had a way of pulling you in. People call it Southern charm. He had it in spades.
It was more than Southern charm.
There really wasn't much that Elvis couldn't get if he really went after it, whether it was from Southern charm or just a strong conviction of saying, I'm going to do that, and that's it. And that's what we always admired about him, but those things slipped away.
There were times where it got bad enough that just as a human being and a friend, that you did have to get involved. And I have done that. You know, I know history is, you know, why didn't you do this and why didn't you do that? We did from time to time. I put my job on the line more than once when Elvis was in trouble.
Elvis had a lot of physical problems.
Oh, here we go.
That were really eating away at him. He had glaucoma. He had hypertension. Do you know that every night after a show, his blood pressure would shoot up to 180, 200 every night? That's a tremendous strain.
Larry walked around with a blood pressure around his. How does he know how high it got? Well, having Dr. Dick around all the time, I'm sure he was able to do that.
Heart. Elvis had a spastic, twisted colon. I can't tell you the problems that plagued him because of it.
I got a call from Elvis.
That's covered in Sally's
Jerry,
book.
can you help me? And I said, what are you talking about? He said, I'm on the floor. I can't get up. And I said, who's there? And he said, nobody. So I ran downstairs. I don't know what car I got into, whatever. Went to the doctor's house, and sure enough, he was on the floor. So we picked him up, put him in bed. This was a proud man that he was even proud around us. And this broke my heart to see Elvis Presley. And it was a psychological thing. His legs really just wasn't working. I was hurt, I was angry, and I waited downstairs for the doctor to come in. And I said, what the hell is going on? He said, what are you talking about? And I told him what I'd just gone through. And he said, well, you know, this liquid diet, and we're not giving him any drugs, we're just giving him placebos. And I threatened the doctor. I said, if I ever see this man in this shape again, I will go all the way. A couple hours later, it's me and Elvis in the bedroom, nobody there. And I just said, you know, Elvis, and I didn't want to embarrass him, talk about the night before. But I just said, you know, we're not having any fun anymore.
Some of us talked it over one day about how bad the situation was going with Elvis. And we discussed it with some of the guys that were getting it to him in a way that, don't do it anymore, you're going to be hurt. And we're going to turn your doctor friends in to the medical association. Well, it dried up for a while. The guys were scared of us, the ones of us that were going to do something to him physically. Elvis finally said, what is going on? Well, how come I'm not getting this or that? And finally, Ricky, his brother, his stepbrother, told him what was going on, that we had threatened them. Elvis called us in on the carpet, told us we better stay out of his business. It was none of our business. He was in charge. He knew what he was doing. He needed it right now. He was asked, well, what happened to the good old days when you didn't need it? And he said, there are no more good old days. So he said, if you don't stop it, you're going to be looking for other jobs. We didn't stop it. 3 or 4 months later, we were fired by his order through his father. He was told, we know from Linda Thompson, She was present. Elvis told his dad to give us enough money to live on for 2 or 3 months because he was going to hire us back. Not Dave, but the other two of us. And
Dave Hebber.
give him enough money to live on. The amount mentioned was $5,000.
Okay, but if
He
you
said,
guys
"Just gotta
knew you were
show
gonna
him
go
up."
back, why did you write the book?
Yeah. You know, these guys were just really a bunch of misfits when you take a look at it. I mean, Jerry made something of himself as far as a career. He had the skills to do that. Marty Lacker worked in the studios. But what his son, well, you know what, maybe not all. Well, during the time they were with Elvis, they were pretty much forced to go do what they needed to do. Now, Red did pictures while Elvis was alive. What he did, what was it, Bob Black Sheep, or there was a couple other things, but he just, they really didn't have any kind of formal education, I don't think. They can become bodyguards for Frank.
I'm still the boss. Well, instead of his dad doing that, he called us in on the phone. He gave us 3 days' notice and 1 week's pay. He said goodbye.
In the years before Elvis's death, his life was falling apart. His health was quickly deteriorating as a result.
So he says that Elvis told his father to give him enough money for 2 months, but they only got a week's worth of pay. How does he know Elvis told him that? Were they in the room when Elvis told his dad to give him 2 months worth of pay?
Apparently, Linda said.
Oh, sorry. That's right. I remember now.
Of his crippling drug addiction. And in 1972, he and Priscilla divorced. Even the Memphis Mafia were shocked by his decline, not knowing who to blame or how he got to this depressing stage of his life.
Thanks, Rich.
I think there was too much pain in Elvis at that point.
Oh, okay.
From going through divorce and wanting to be back with Priscilla, from losing A Star Is Born, from not being able to tour overseas. His health was giving away. You know, he had a bad colon. He had, everything you could think of, this guy was physically wrong. And he did not want to admit anything was wrong. He was Elvis Presley.
There were times I looked at him and he looked very lonely, and he'd be in the middle of a bunch of people. And I'd look at him and I think, he's not even where he wants to be right there. He's not feeling anything right now. Times I'd go over to him, I say, "Hey, boss. Hey, Sonny. About ready to go?" Yeah, let's go. Get him out of that. He wasn't enjoying it.
I've always said that Elvis was like a artillery shell. They loaded him up, fired him, and he fell out of the ark. And I think the horrendous part of it is that we could not stop it. I think to the day I die, that'll be one of my burdens. And, you know, we tried, but we couldn't. He was his own worst enemy.
On August 16th, 1977, Elvis Presley was found unresponsive on his bathroom floor.
They got that right.
Got up the next day, came to the house about 12 noon, this is the 16th, and about 2 o'clock, the phone rings, intercom, and one of the maids picks up the phone, and it's Ginger. She says, "Come upstairs, I need help." Elvis fainted. So I ran upstairs. I go into the bathroom, and Elvis fell over. He was laying on the floor. I turned him over, and I knew he was dead. But I was hoping he wasn't. I picked up the phone, called the operator. They didn't have 911 at that time, and said, "We need an ambulance here at Elvis Presley's house," and I didn't tell him who it was. And meanwhile, I couldn't do mouth-to-mouth resuscitation because Elvis' mouth was closed shut. There was no way possible. There's rumors I did that, but somebody made that story up. I was trying to massage his heart as well as I could, and it just seemed forever. People were all coming up there, and it was pandemonium. the ambulance finally showed up. And it seemed forever, and I found out later it was like 20 minutes before they got there. We got him in the ambulance. Stretcher came, got him down in the ambulance. I jumped in the back of the ambulance, got there, and they rushed him into the emergency room. I tell you, it was tough. And 30 minutes later, about 30 minutes, I would think, doctor came into the room, and he said, Elvis has left. Elvis is gone. And we all broke down, and we all hugged each other. And it was, very emotional time, naturally.
He was officially pronounced dead at 3:30 p.m. at Baptist Memorial Hospital. His death
He was
was
too
felt
far gone,
around
Purple
the
Green.
world.
He was in rigor mortis.
It's almost like my soul ruptured, so to speak. Yes, you come to terms with it, but it stays with you. And that moment, those moments of his death have remained until this very moment, and I'm sure they will until I take my last breath.
Here comes the
Changed
story.
my life entirely.
God, we're driving down and radio's on and they play an Elvis record and the disc jockey says by the late Elvis Presley.
That's a hard way to hear it.
My best friend is dead. No matter what you want to say, that's the biggest loss to me I've ever had. And we can say he had a good career, we can say this, we can say that, but the guy's dead. Here's a guy that helped everybody else. You were sick. Not just with money, though. He helped you talk things through, whatever else. I don't think he got the reciprocal from his friends.
No.
No, never
It's
did.
like a train stopping. I know for about a year after Elvis died, I couldn't hear. I was almost deaf. It was like, they say that the accident doesn't kill you. It's a stopping that kills you. And the stopping, it stopped. It went to a screeching halt. I think that he had so much to give. And here it is, he hits the floor and died by himself.
My wife and I got up in the morning, that morning, out in California. We had Arabian horses. And we were going over, I'd bought her this Arabian horse. We were breeding her to a famous stallion over there. And she was in season and acting in season for the last 3 or 4 days. We get there, we go with and let me tell you something. This is very important. There was a misty type overcast rain, and it was not forecast the day before. And I said to my wife, Judy, honey, I thought this was supposed to be a pretty day. A little fog early and then burn off. She said, I don't know. So we left. We get our mare, who's across the street in a corral. We're taking her, I've got a halter on her. As I'm going down there to put her into the barn for the breeder to come out, he comes running out. It's a friend of mine, very good friend. And he comes out and he said, Sonny, man, have you heard? And I looked at him, I said, Elvis died. And he said, yeah. I went to my knees. I just cried out loud and went to my knees. Let go of the horse, everything. I lost it. Judy reached down and grabbed me. Harvey took the horse. I started crying, he didn't deserve this, he didn't deserve this. I got up and he's saying, I hear him apologizing, and Judy saying, no, Harvey. He said, I didn't know he was that close. He said, never mind, it's okay. I walked over to his fence, over their ranch fence with those long white planks, and I hauled off and I hit one of those and broke it. I said, I gotta get out of here. So we left, went home. I started walking around from room to room, just crying. Phone's ringing. Can't answer it. Judy had to answer it, take all the calls. I couldn't talk to my parents, any of my sisters, or my brother. I could talk to nobody. Tell you what, I miss him today.
In his short lifetime, Elvis became an icon that will never die. To this day, He is the best-selling single artist of all time and is hundreds of millions of record sales ahead of artists such as Michael Jackson or Madonna. Over 650,000 fans still visit Graceland each year to feel closer to Elvis at what is now a National Historic Landmark of one of the most influential artists of all time. And those that knew him best will never forget the intense highs and lows they experienced whilst being alongside the king of rock and roll in the Memphis Mafia.
Just knowing Elvis Presley was an experience of a lifetime. He made us part of history because of him. Like I tell a lot of people, I was a little kid off the Chicago streets, man. I don't know what I've done in my life. Now I'm part of history because of this man.
I don't know if history will ever catch up to how smart this guy was.
You know, not a day goes by that something doesn't happen in my life through a phone call.
It was a copper
seeing
casket.
Or some way, an email, that someone doesn't
That's pretty heavy.
spark something in me. Thoughts about Elvis.
Elvis was something else. But his blind spot with his body and what he put into it. He's responsible ultimately. But at the same time, he was a victim. No question about it.
Yeah, I've heard Joe say before, somewhere, I've heard him say that he tried to resuscitate. Well, resuscitate, he did say he massaged his chest, which is part of trying to resuscitate somebody. Now, the thing is he knows that he's already in rigor mortis. There's no point in even trying to massage his heart, his chest. I mean, he's dead. He's gone. Nobody comes back from rigor mortis.
No, I think in their own way, we can all sit here and have a good laugh about it. But I think they all in their own way have a certain amount of regret and remorse. They have to.
They had to have. I know that they had to have
Because
some love for him somewhere along the line. You
can see it when Lamar talks about it, when Jerry talks about it, Scotty talks about it, even Larry talks about it. They battle to talk about it because it still hits them there. He obviously meant something of great value to them as he does to us all. But I think it's in those moments that they realize. Then the bright lights and the cameras and the microphones disappear, and then they reminded of the person, their friend, their carer, their caretaker.
Yeah, we do. The documentary was just really poorly, fast done. It was just that's what makes it kind of funny, is because it's just so stupid, and when you can't help but laugh when Larry Geller tells a story because it's so dramatic. But what made it so ridiculous is the soundtrack. It's just, what's the point? Why do you want to put that? Just But I mean, it was interesting. It was fun. It was better than sitting there. We didn't even make it 25 minutes through Priscilla before we were done with that interview.
Yeah.
That was just souls apart. Yes.
It's crazy. I always, even though I was not around at that time, I always try to put myself in that position, and I'm always filled with an immense sense of sadness, because I think he got to a point where he was looking out and he realized that he's got all these people around him, but they are of no value truly without the exception of maybe one or two. And I can understand that. It must be extremely difficult to have to look at your life, and on the material side, you've got everything you could possibly want, but yet you've got nothing. And it must be it must be immensely, hugely soul destroying to be in a place and to realize this is what I've become, this is what I've achieved. And you know what? At the end of the day, in the larger picture of life, it actually doesn't mean jack shit because I'm still lonely here.
You
I'm
know,
still asking myself, what am I doing here?
you know, I, uh, as I told the story before that, I went to that day that he died. I went to Graceland, and they showed the video, and it really brings back the memories because people. I mean, I was there for a day and a half. I left when they started going through because it was so freaking hot and miserable, and things at home weren't gonna be too good if I stayed much longer. I was 19 at the time, and it was just a commotion. It was just when I first got there, it started to calm down a little bit, but then people started passing out. But it was just the wailing and the crying and there was no screaming. And then of course the car that ran into the crowd. It was after that I just like I can't do this. But it was madhouse. It was just, and you see, these are people that never knew him personally, but the effect that he had on people like us, fans, and people that were around him alive and experienced him on Earth at the time, the way he affected them, I can imagine. I can under. Well, I can't under. I can't put myself in their shoes, but I can understand why. Even though after they didn't leave Elvis when he was alive, when they got fired and all that, they didn't leave on good terms. That doesn't mean they didn't. They spent 20 years with him. They were brothers. They were, they partied. They spent a lot of time together. And so I know that love and all that was still there. So when I sit there and watch Sonny West tell his stories, damn well that he's deeply affected every time he tells the story. Same thing with Joe. Even Joe at times,
Yeah.
would he'd break down when he starts talking, especially when he gets to the point when he went up, goes up there and finds him in the room, in the bathroom, and it's just the impact this guy had on people, and still 50 years, almost 50 years later, people still swarm to that place.
Yeah.
You
Oh
know,
yeah. No.
Red loved Elvis. Red loved Elvis, and I'm sure that like you said, Cam, I'm sure they got a lot of regret about everything, not being able to make amends with Elvis, not to come to a reconciling, and leave, whether they came back or not, at least to be able to part on good terms.
But I would like to think in that situation, and I think they know, but I understand the importance of that in terms of the journey too. Um, I think in Elvis's heart he understood. He knew that it wasn't a personal thing. I think
That's a good
when
point, Tracy. Go ahead, Cam.
I think when it came down to the crunch, um, I think Elvis knew in his heart of hearts. I think he knew that they were remorseful, and
Well, yeah. I mean, you can't go through life and be so close to each other and know everybody's personal. I mean, they weren't just like friends hanging out, going to have a drink. They knew their personal everything personal. They knew everything. And that's a more of an intimacy, between friends than most people have. So that doesn't go away.
yeah. No, I mean they needed him and he needed them. They were like the
Yeah.
one couldn't go without the other. They protected him and he protected them.
Well, that was an interesting documentary. It was kind of. I might start previewing some of these things because that was made in 2018. Somebody's put it on YouTube as being all refreshed and new video 2025, but it's not. It was made in 2018, and it's just made from a group of just to me they're just like influencers. They it's almost like an AI type of video. Though I don't think that was doesn't sound like that was an AI voice because they AI voice is when they narrate it's not exactly smooth.
Yeah, and to get back to it, I know I suffer from depression, and depression is it's a very misunderstood thing. It's a very dark thing because one minute you're right up there and you feel like Superman,
It doesn't
and
take a second, yeah.
then in the space it takes you to go from exhaling to inhaling, you in the depths of hell, and you do shit and you say shit that in your right mind when you're rational about it, it's the wrong thing to do and say, but in that moment it just comes out and it happens, and later you sit back and when the reality hits you, you realize the gravity of what has happened, but then the self-guilt creeps in
Yeah.
because then you start eating yourself up because, oh my God, I did that or I said that. And then with that self guilt comes, I can't go and say sorry because how am I going to do that? Because I wouldn't even do that to myself and I did it to people I care about. And it's that constant cycle of being caught in that self guilt
Hmm.
that it's easier eventually gets to the point where you try and make it right by doing something or saying something or buying someone something or buying something for yourself because it's easier to go that way than to actually have to admit that that has happened, because having to admit that means having to open up that wound again.
We've been reviewing a lot of people and the scenarios around Elvis, like of course with Priscilla, with Colonel Parker. Now we've reviewed a lot with the Memphis Mafia, and when you step back and look at when Elvis died and who was really close to him.
Yeah.
I mean, really, out of all those people, the Colonel, we know the situation with that. Of course, we know the situation with Priscilla. But the Memphis Mafia guys, you would think, yeah, there's a few of them. I think Charlie was close to him, and even Jerry Phillips. I think he was, very close to Elvis. Though I question some of the things he does these days. I question his connections with Priscilla these days. But once again, I don't really care. Though I have been really inquisitive and wanting to know more.
I think, and we must also remember that it's become common knowledge now, but in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, depression wasn't even acknowledged as a condition.
Oh, yes, it was. Oh, yes, it was. Valium was a very big prescribed drug for depression, but they
Yeah,
just
but
didn't know how to treat it. All they did was just pop them
yeah,
with Valium. Oh,
yeah.
I had one of my best friends. His mother was, she would get so depressed. She would go down. She'd take Valium, and she would get in bed for 4 or 5 days and never even come out. And I knew other people, but in turn, along with what you're saying, it's not as I think they understand it much more these days than they did back in those days.
Yes.
A lot of people thought depression was maybe chemically enhanced, or a result of people have an induced depression like somebody passing away close to them or whatever. But there's people that have depression because it's just it's there's nothing that triggered it. It's just in them, and it's a condition, and people
Yeah.
don't realize that it is a freaking disease. So
Yeah.
along you're right, Cam. It wasn't recognized as a disease back then. It was recognized as something. We'll just give them Valium and let them sleep.
Yeah.
It was just it was a Band-Aid.
Yeah. And in many cases today, it's still the same.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't. It's because it's very hard to bring yourself to that point to say, I have this disease, I need help. Especially if you're a man, no disrespect to the ladies out there, but you know, the way we get brought up as men is, big boys don't cry and
You can't show
care.
weakness. You can't show weakness in any way. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's a shame that things like you know a Betty Ford clinic and places that where people could go to rehabs weren't more prevalent back then as they are in these days, where it helps a lot of people. Elvis didn't. Yeah, it was a weak for Elvis to admit that he had a problem would have been a weakness in his eyes, I believe.
Yeah.
Uh,
And
there was no answer.
in his mind, he couldn't afford for that to happen because too many people, including himself, depended too much on himself.
Yeah. And he was more concerned. Yeah, he was more concerned about making sure that all the people that are dependent, instead of just saying, "Listen, I need to hang. I got to stop for a while. I got to take a break. I got to take 2-3 years off. You guys go out, find another job. I'm not going to be able to pay you. These guys should know that. Should expect something like that. But they expected too much out of Elvis because Elvis gave them everything. So the white. It would have been great if Elvis, say around 74 or something like that, he just said, "I'm taking a hiatus." Wouldn't have hurt him at all. You kidding me? He'd take 5 years off and get himself well, and then come back. Come back and record some albums, do something totally different, do his European tour, whatever, or world tour. But those are the what ifs that I always digress to. It didn't happen. It'll never happen, and there's nothing we can do about it.
And it is. It's a very lonely place to be because even though especially today, even though today it's a little bit better understood than back then, even today it's still a hard place to be because you look at your own situation. I know I did for many years. I used to sit there and go, you know, uh, I can't tell people about these things because they're not going to get it. They see it from the outside.
A lot of people just
They
don't want to hear it.
Yeah, and
I
they
don't want to hear it.
and
Not my problem. I don't want to hear it.
yeah, and it's like even if they do, I mean, for me it was like that for years. Even though the worst thing people could say to me was, "Oh, I understand what you're going through," and
Yeah,
I'm
they would
like,
they would send people off going along what Lori says here. They would do the shock therapy. They would do, some back in I don't know how far back we got to go, but they would do lobotomies and they would do, it was ridiculous. Some of these movies I see that talk about all of that, it's just sickening to think of people that would sit there in catatonic states because of how they were treated, not because of their illness. There were people obviously in catatonic states that were because of health issues, but there were a lot of people put in catatonic states by drugs just to keep them, you know, basically because they couldn't kill them. So they could sit them down and feed them drugs and let them sit in a chair and piss in their pants and everything for the rest of their life till they die. Yeah, Rich, you're right. Nobody will ever understand what someone is going through. My mom had some issues with depression for a short period of time, and for about 5 or 6 years, and she got the help she needed. We made, my dad and I made sure she got the help she needed, and she recovered. Pretty much recovered. She would have a little, incidents now and then as far as getting paranoid, but it was 100 times better than what it was when she was going through that time, and it all reflected. It was all going back to her childhood. Things that she had to deal with as a child, So I've seen it, and it's just I just I just hate to see people go through that. It's a terrible thing, and I'm hoping that they understand it more and more, because there's still people out there that need that help and aren't
Yeah.
getting it.
And it's like somebody said to me one day too, because it took me years to get to that point, but my equation had to change before I got to that point. I had to be confronted with either I'm going to go for help or I'm going to lose this.
Yeah,
And
with my mom, one of the problems she had was she was abused as a child. It never came out whether that it was sexual abuse, but she was abused, physically abused, and there was a point in time after I was probably, I think I was around probably close to about 40 at the time, and she really started thinking about those. They were really coming to light, and then she started thinking about how how she raised her four kids, and I'm the oldest, and so we had a meeting one day down at where she was going with the counselors, and she asked me. She was really concerned, and this is what was driving her crazy, was that she was scared to death that I thought that she had abused me my whole childhood, because my mom was strict, but she wasn't abusive strict. My mom was strict, and because of that, I didn't. I I I was I lived a good life. I didn't get into drugs. I didn't steal. I didn't any of that stuff. I was very. I knew I had good morals, so. But she just couldn't. She was just scared that because she was strict, that she looked at it as abuse, and it took a while for me to really convince her, Mom, if it wasn't for the way you raised me, I could have very well been dead or in jail or homeless or whatever. But you raised me to be responsible, and you raised me to be moral and know right from wrong. And it took probably a good year for her to really go through all her sons and for them all to convince her, are you kidding me? You did a great job with us. And that's what part it got to that point, when she started healing. But, you
yeah,
don't understand how all those years I was growing up and you never saw that in her until one day it's just things started coming back in her mind. So, I don't understand depression. I don't understand. I mean, I get depressed certain days and all that, but I don't have the issue or the problem like with you, Cam, where you've had to deal with it, throughout your life. I get depressed because it's just, I'm just not feeling well, or my situation. That's all, and it goes away because I know I got other things I can do.
yeah, and
Thanks.
and for me,
Rick.
and for me, it was I got to the point where something had happened one day. I got home from work, and something deep down inside me said, "This is not you." And
Mhm.
and in that moment, I looked at myself, and I looked at my wife, and I realized within
Yeah,
myself, and I said, "I'm hurting the person that I love most in the world."
yeah,
And I sat down on the bed and I broke down. I cried like a baby, and I said to my wife, "What is wrong with me? I need help." And she went with me to the doctor, and the doctor put me on medication. And she did a whole bunch of tests, and she said to me, she said, "The chances you probably had depression since the age of 10. It's been untreated." She said, "And no surprise." She said, her words to me was, "I'm surprised you didn't put a gun to your head 10 years ago."
wow.
And and when she put that prescription for the medication in my hand, I looked at my wife and I said to her, "I don't want to become a pill popping junkie to get me through the day." And she smiled and she looked at me. She said to me, "There's no shame in that." She said, "There's people in the world that drink medication for their blood pressure." She
Mm-hmm.
said, "So you drink a pill to get happy every day."
Yeah.
You drink Capel to keep your sun shining, and with time you gonna get better. And there's no shame in that. She said the shame comes when you know you have a problem and you don't go for help.
That's
She
yeah.
said.
You're right.
She said, and I mean, you guys know, it's like alcoholism. It never goes away. It's a constant everyday thing. You
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
you have to work at it every day, but you learn skills and you learn coping mechanisms. And I have my days where I feel like the world is heavy and I don't want to smile. And those days are okay. I acknowledge it and I say, okay, that's how I feel today. And Rick knows I'll call and I'll talk to him, or there'll be times where I call and I don't even say a word. He just looks at my face. He said to me, "What's going on, buddy?" And
Yeah.
I can't get the words out. He says it's okay. He says it's okay.
Yeah.
Just let it come out. Tomorrow you'll feel better. And that's all that we need sometimes. We don't need people to say, "Oh no, I understand," because I used to say to people all the time, "You don't understand. You don't understand. How can you understand?
Right.
You don't know what I go through every day to wake up. You don't know the effort I go through every day to put a pair of socks onto my shoes.
Yeah.
You don't know the effort I go through to make a cup of coffee. So how on earth can you say you understand what I'm going through?
Yeah.
You can't. Sometimes all I need you to do, and as blunt as this is going to sound, I mean it with the most love possible.
Right.
Sometimes a person just needs to shut up and sit on the bench and listen.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
Brent. I mean, yeah, I applaud you. I mean, you've done what a lot of people won't do, and that's take the right steps. To get yourself taken care of, get yourself well. It's just a shame that that there wasn't that that wasn't available when Elvis was around, and there wasn't people around him to even just give him the support to really. They were more like, and I can understand. Elvis was, just from what I understand about Elvis. He was a very stubborn person.
yeah, that's me too. I
Yeah,
was a, but my stubbornness came because I was forced to. I had to fend for myself from a
yeah.
very young age. I
Catherine
didn't
makes
have.
a good point here about this too, along what we're talking about. Just
I,
what we do here is a great
yeah,
form of therapy by talking about it and sharing and knowing you're among people that have the same interests and they don't look down upon you. We
yeah,
all got our issues. Everybody, and the thing is everybody on this chat, they share their what's going on in their life, and we're all here to support each other. God knows I've been there too. Cam's been through. We all know what Cam's been through. He's been through so much, and guess what? People pulled up their bootstraps and helped has been helping him out, and in the times when I was down, when my mother died, or when I was in the hospital for a month, you guys, you were there to support me by your comments and thoughts, and that I saw my wife. I mean, I don't take anything away from her support, but to have a group of people that you don't know, other than that you've never met, to give you so much support, it's amazing. And I've seen, and I'll attest to Cam from the day we met. We talked about it before. Excuse me. I mean, he does. He still has those moments, but from the first day till now, there's a huge freaking difference. He laughs when we talk. 90% of the time when we're together, we have something to laugh and talk about. He still has his frustrations and his days like we all do. God knows we all do. Every day has something. But the nice thing about it is, he's got people he can talk to. I got people I can talk to. And if I feel like it, I just get online and do a chat for something, and then we'll just talk about stuff, and somehow we'll get around about Elvis somewhere along the line.
I think the big thing, and Thank you, Cat. I appreciate the comments. It's just I regret not appreciating her more when I had the opportunity. But um, the difference for me now is that I had to learn to say that when I have those down days, I had to learn to say it's okay.
Hmm.
It's it's okay because my entire life I was told, "Oh no, big boys don't cry." Cowboys don't cry, and that to me is the biggest crock of bullshit in life
It
because
took me
that
a long time in my life to get to the point where I thought, there's some shame in that.
yeah, and it's like I say, and especially for me growing up the way I grew up and having to hear every day that okay, your shit's, and you have to deal with it in your own way. Uh,
Cam tells me things that goes on. I'm not going to say anything that just infuriate me. That's gone on in his life, or even recently, and I get infuriated because number one, that it happens. Number two, I can't do a fucking thing about it. All I can do is give encouragement to Cam, but and it's frustrating because I get frustrated when I see him going. Not frustrated. I get upset and I feel for him. But
but
in the turnaround, when they've been, him and Rich have both been there for me when I needed, on personal phone calls. I mean, it's some people. I know there's a lot of you out there will understand, but when I lost my puppy Dugan for after 14 years, that was a hard thing to deal with, and they were there. I could pick up the phone, and they talked to me, and it was really nice to have that talk. And you know what? I've never met either one of these guys physically, but I feel more comfortable talking to them and the majority of you guys that have been following us for a long time that I talk to on the phone or I email or whatever. It's just I can't really explain it because I'm. This is just something that's all new to me.
I have the maturity now to look back and say, am I sad for what happened? Yes. Would I change it? No, because it's my circumstance that made me who I am today. Had I had I grown up different, had I had parents that really gave a shit, had I not been forced to do things in my own emotional world to keep myself going, who knows? Maybe I would have been an arrogant idiot. I don't know. Maybe I would have been somebody that I wouldn't like. So would I have liked to change it? No, because the lessons I learned from it made me who I am today, and for that I'm
Yeah,
grateful.
how Cam and I came to be friends is it's just kind of like almost I don't want to say freak of nature. It's just by accident, really. But I don't even try to understand how it happened, other than the fact it was through our love of Elvis. Actually, that's what it was because
Yeah,
if
he,
him
he
and I
was.
didn't like Elvis, we would have never met, and I would have never met any of you, and I wouldn't, and I'd be sitting here binge watching, SpongeBob or something
Days of our lives.
like that. Oh no, I'd rather watch SpongeBob than Days of Our Lives. That will put me in a real deep depression. So yeah,
Yeah,
um, this I say this every time, and I know I sound like a broken record, but this is just so cool to sit here and talk about this. I sit here and I've been watching our viewers, and it floats about the same. People enjoy. People want to. They know that they can come here and have no drama. I kind of get a little dramatic there every now and then, but I get my guidance back into the right direction, and I appreciate that. I love that. I have such good, huge friends on here that I love every one of you guys, just like your family. We live for this. Cam and I live for this.
yeah.
I mean, literally, we were sitting here talking the other day about what else can we do, and we finally agreed. No, we just need to stick with what we're doing now until it really gets nice and smooth and going, and then we'll talk about doing a few things here and there. Because right now we got to be ready for Elvis week, and But
Hey, Val.
Cam. I can't say enough about Cam. Cam's my brother. He's my son. He's my cousin. Well, he's not old enough to be my dad. But it's just my wife. My wife says it all the time. She goes, "You talk to Cam today?" I go, "No." She goes, "Everything all right?" I go, "Yeah, we've kind of separated for a while. We'll get back together." It's something stupid like that. But she knows how important it is, this channel. She really knows, because she's seen the difference in me. Gotten rid of, because I've had nothing compared to Cam, but I was in a funk. It wasn't say it was depression. I was in a funk. I don't know what to do. I've all of a sudden I've gone from 100 miles an hour to 0, and now I'm limited to just flipping on the TV and Googling stuff, surfing the net. And then one therapist put the seed in my head, and look where we're at today. I'm 500 away from 25,000 subscribers. I'm baffled. I'm totally baffled.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, you guys know I've said it before. I mean, if it wasn't for this channel, I wouldn't be here today, because I was at that point. I woke up that morning, quite frankly. I woke up that morning after the fire, and I looked at my life, and I looked at myself, and I thought, okay, what do I have now? Now I really have jack shit. I don't have my family anymore. I don't have what I.
Oh, look who just appeared.
Who's that?
Valerie.
Oh yeah, I said hi to Val when she
Oh, I
popped
didn't
in.
hear that. I got something to share with you, Val.
Yeah.
I think you're going to like this. Go ahead, Cam. Keep going while I get this.
No, I did. I looked at my life and I thought, okay, well, this is it then. Is
Yeah.
this what it's come to? So this and what we do, and you guys interacting with us and giving us suggestions and being yourselves and coming here and ranting and raving and being crazy and
I tell you
talking
guys,
amongst
we
yourself.
tell you guys that this is your channel. You
Yeah,
guys tell us what you want to do. If something doesn't work, then we change it.
yeah,
We're not going to be stuck in a routine of the same stuff every week, because it's just, we don't want to bring monotony and boredom to people. We want to have fun, and that's why we do this. And last week we talked about on a Sunday live stream. We talked about backing off some of the stupid shit that I do. Which I have, everybody knows that I got a really corny, stupid sense of humor, but that's what makes me smile and laugh. And, a lot of you get a kick out of it too. But,
yeah. But that stuff served its purpose too.
yeah. And so we're backing off some of that, and we're going to get more into these chats, because I think that's what works for all of us. Everybody gets together. But real quick, it's not bad for me. You're compassionate, you're genuine, and you have a true Elvis connection. It's not a surprise. On the road to 50K, sir. I've been excited. I mean, I've gotten 1,000 new subscribers in the last 28 days. I'm just floored. All right, so I got a little surprise for you, Valerie. Are you still there? Yeah, she's still here. So, do you remember? She's gonna get a kick out of this. So, I'm sure you remember a few weeks back, about a month ago or so, when we were doing a chat and the conversation got off into Colombo. And so, I told everybody, I said, I don't care what we talk about. We're all Elvis fans having a chat where get together. Doesn't mean we have to stick. That's a golden rule that we stick to just Elvis. We just have an agreement that there's no religion and no politics as far as a major discussion, because that's where things go off the rails. So I found something you're going to really be interested, because around that same time, we were talking about Marilyn Manson, Charles Manson, and the Manson murders. And Cat Girl was telling me some information about it. So it was all around that same time. So I found a book that I think you're going to get a kick out of. Colombo, he solves the Helter Skelter murders. He's hired to solve the Manson murders. It's a novel. I was laughing my ass off. The first thing I thought of was Valerie. It was Val. I thought of her. I thought, she's going to get a thorough kick out of this. So, I think it's great. Now, something you may not have seen either, but here, since we want to save Cam's vocal cords,
Yeah, Val's going to get a kick out of
and my
this.
eardrums, we've created this, Val.
I love that.
One
That
I think that's just so freaking hilarious.
Show Val the blooper reel.
Oh, Val says, the blooper reel? Oh, my God. Did you? I don't know if she's seen our blooper reel. Okay, guys, we're digressing. We got to... All right, okay, here you go.
All right, so... Yeah. Where's my twinkle? Okay, that's good. Okay, stop. Oh, you know what? Let's start off with...
Are you effing kidding me?
Yeah, you hit the twinkle and then you hit the blue moon.
I think
Bob.
I'll do that. I think I'll do that. Hit the twinkle. Hit the disclaimer.
This is another public service announcement brought to you by the Blue Moon Guys.
Oh, that's got to be for the stats. Yeah, well, I'll go from the twinkle.
Are you effing kidding me?
And I'll go boom.
These guys are going to think we're smoking something every week.
Exactly. All right. Let me stop laughing.
Serious face. Poker face.
Oh, I lost this before we did this. I had me.
We got more coming. I'm going to be making more of that. Hit the twinkle with the blue moon, Bob. That's funny. So I'm going to be making more blooper reels. I got all kinds of them I can do. We're going to have some from today too. Remember, from the morning show of today.
And you guys only saw those like 3 seconds of that. That way we had to try and stop laughing. Put on a set. That went for a loop for what, 7 minutes? We tried.
Yeah. Oh,
and
yeah.
The moment we looked at each other, we'd start laughing again. Eventually, we even tried switching off our cameras, but that didn't work because we knew the other one was on.
Well, you guys are very aware that we have the gift of gab, so there'll be sometimes I'll be editing these inside the studios, and there was a couple where, when we played one take and we talk about it a little bit and then we go to the next take, there'll be sometimes where there'll be 20 to 25 minutes of talk before we would get to the next take. I go, that ain't going to cut it. Kathleen, I need bobble dolls of Rick and Ken with twinkle dust. You guys are.
And then Olga comes and encourages it. Great idea.
We can get you send in your picture, they'll make a bobble doll, bobblehead doll of it.
Oh my God!
Freaking expensive, but it'd be funny to have them. Get one, put a little twinkle dust on them. We have too much fun, guys. We do this all for you. Give you a good laugh. So we got two choices here. We can keep on gabbing, or I could play another little video, but what is it? We've been at 2 hours. That would put us at 3 hours. I don't know how everybody's doing. What time is it now? Holy shit. I don't know. I can't do another video. I got to get ready for tomorrow. So tomorrow we're going to be doing more of a book chat on the Careless Love. Hopefully next week, within the next 2 weeks before Peter Gronick's book, we're going to be done with the Colonel books. Then we'll do Gronick's book. Now, here's something interesting I thought of. Now, it's not everybody's going to be able to join in unless you guys. I'm going to sit up here a second, guys. Hold on. For those of you who don't know, I got a recliner lift chair here, so to make things a whole lot easier for me, I used to sit up, and then after a while, I'd get to hurting. But I got it rigged now where I can just kind of kick back a little bit. Anyway, so this is what I was thinking. So I'm getting Gronick's book by Kindle and by audio. Okay. I'll get it at midnight on August 3rd, I think it is, or 5th, whatever night it is. I'll get it delivered to my Kindle. I thought about going live right when I get the book and start just going through it and highlighting stuff, start talking about stuff. Be one of the first ones. Okay, you can't steal my idea, Brent. You could join us. Actually, we could do a simulcast. Get Rich and Brent, and we all do a simulcast. That would be even awesomer. Awesomer, is that a word?
Yeah, it is now.
I mean, what do you guys think? Would you guys be? I mean, it'd be at midnight, but we do our midnight, our midnight watch party, and then I could just do another one, the next day later in the day. But I'd like to really kind of midnight. We go live, and I get the book, and I could kind of just start. What everybody think? You think do it, Rick? Olga says do. Jesus says do all 700 pages in one night. We can be here for 7 hours. Yes, because I've got the audio too, but I don't know if I'll be able to play the audio without getting bumped. So what I'd rather do, what I can do is I'll just get the pages like I do, and I'll just kind of flip, because I share my screen with my Kindle, and we can just kind of flip through it. I can't read the book outright, but I'm allowed to discuss the book and review it. So we could just start reviewing it. All 700 pages. Wouldn't that be something? But we could kind of take a look at chapters and see what the chapters are and whatever. We can hop around, jump around the book, not literally. She cat, yeah, Mulder is nuts. Here's okay. I know. Here's this one is for our buddy Val. Good old Fox Mulder. There you go, Val. Good to see you join us. So what do y'all think? I think I'm going to do that. What days does the book come out? Is it August 3rd or 5th? I'll look at Amazon. That's where I ordered it from. Peter Gronick. Maybe I'll start talking like Barry White again. Hey, baby, we're going to discuss the Colonel. Peter Gronick. Oh, that even sounds sexy, doesn't it? Peter Gronick.
Yeah, you put some echo on that.
Well, here we go. Yeah. Check. Ooh, where'd my echo go? Check. Oh, yeah. Little Barry White here. Ooh. Now I'm getting silly. Ooh, yeah, baby. Yeah, that's the spot, baby. Yeah,
clean up on aisle 4.
Yeah, clean up on aisle 4. Turn the page, baby. Turn the page. All right, so and we're getting silly here. All right, Peter Gronick. Let me turn off the echo. That's starting to get irritating. It is August 5th.
The Cosmic Baker?
Huh?
The Cosmic Baker took us out of his oven too early. He didn't bring me near the oven. That's the problem.
What are you talking about?
I don't know. C-Cat said something about a Cosmic Baker.
Are we doing a talking show, a food service show?
Attention, Walmart shoppers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Attention, Walmart shoppers. There's a blue light special on aisle 6. Aisle 6. Get your broom and dustpans for $1.99. I don't know how many people remember the blue light specials. I'm sure most of you do. Okay, August 5th is on a Tuesday, which is when we do our midnight show.
Anyway, yeah.
So I will do that on August 5th. That's when we're going to do it, and we're going to do it live.
Yeah.
I'm going to get the book, and we'll see if we have any issue. I shouldn't. All I got to do is open. You know what? Let me open up my Kindle and see if I can share the screen. Kindle, open up my Kindle, baby. I got to shut up. Okay, so that's that. Share screen. Window. Oh, here we go. Can you see that? Not yet.
Not yet, no.
Now?
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, let me go full screen. Hi, look at that.
There we go.
Okay, so I can see, let me make sure it turns pages. Oh, awesome.
Brilliant.
This is freaking awesome.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, I'll bring the book. Somebody bring the beer. We're going to have fun that night. Well, somebody who has the beer will. Oh, I'm psyched about that. I thought about that last night, and I meant to mention it this morning in the book chat.
Yeah, that'll work out cool.
Okay, let me get rid of that. Remove from scene. Yes. All right, so let me get to the comments here. So everybody's on board then, huh? It'll be August 5th, midnight. The night of August 4th, August 5th. Usually they release books on the Tuesdays. So it's the same night I do my watch parties. So everybody knows I'm going to be fun. You should have worked for Walmart on the store mics. Yeah, I can imagine me on the...
So for you guys, it's
hey, Cam, check out the hot babe on aisle 7. Check her out. Oh, come on, man. Hot.
So for you guys, it's Tuesday night. For me, it's Tuesday morning.
Yeah, it'll be 6 in the morning for you. And it'll be midnight because that's when I'll be delivered. It's delivered to my book, my Kindle at midnight. And my Audible, I'll get them both delivered because I won't play the Audible because I'm sure I'll get copyrighted and kicked off. But the book we'll just start flipping through it and picking out highlights. You know, I can't read the whole book. I mean, what does it say? It's the reading time. I think it tells me the reading time on Amazon. Peter Gronick. Hello, Peter. All right, so let's see. Peter Gronick.
Oh my goodness, check it, Val. She says, yeah, Walmart in the intimates department.
Are there what'd she say? Walmart what?
Val says to Kathleen, yes, she agrees. You should have worked at Walmart, but in the intimates department.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Rich. Yeah, I would just go, hey.
Yeah. Okay. Web source. All right, cool. So we'll plan that. That's in how many weeks now from here? So this is the 12th. That's 3 weeks from this coming Tuesday.
3 weeks, 2 days, 17 hours, and 58 seconds.
Take 2.
Yeah.
All right. Let me close my Kindle. All right, cool. I think that'll be fun. Kind of give us something different to do. We can get there before everybody else. Olga Mulder is nuts. That could be the non-Elvis theme song for us on this channel. What's that? What is non-Elvis theme?
I don't know. I missed
it. Attention shoppers. Oh, hey. Or attention shoppers. Welcome to Kmart. Welcome to Walmart. Welcome to Walmart. By that time, I'll be so tired I can get my voice really low. Very cool. All right, so it's 2:15. I mean, we've been going for 2 hours and 15 minutes. Saw a silly movie, a silly documentary. I don't think I have any short video. Let me see, any shorts. Let's see. Let's go to desktop. Let's see if I got anything we can watch real quick. Kind of.
Bye, Scott. Thanks for dropping in.
Priscilla. Yeah, Scott. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
And to Jack.
We're still up to 24. Yeah, Jack.
If you're still there, nice to see you. Hopefully, it won't be the last time.
We're looking for the Colonel. That's an hour. I don't want to go that. Do a whole hour. I don't. You know what time? It's 7 here. Some people. It's late for you, Cam. So. Yeah, let's just close it out with some chatter here, and then we'll go because Cam's got to get to bed. It's what 1 o'clock in the morning for you.
Yeah, it's now
1:15.
Yeah, it's 1:15.
Yeah, and I got to get Well, it's not going to take too much. I just got to get the book ready to. Actually, you know what? I could do that from now on too. Instead of doing what I'm doing with the little small pages, I can do it
Yeah.
here on the screen with when we do these books now.
Just open the Kindle.
Show us your shorts. Rich, you want to see my shorts? All right, so we covered Priscilla today. We're not going to talk any more about Priscilla until her book comes out. That's going to be a very interesting discussion. And you know what? We'll do the same thing with hers, too. When does her book come out? September something. Priscilla. I got the Kindle version of that, too, because I didn't want to hard. Oh, look at that. Child Bride. I can get the Kindle for only $6.
But you got it already.
Oh, do I? Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. That's right. You sent it to me, didn't you?
Yeah.
Sorry. Priscilla Presley books. Her softly. Tuesday, September 23rd. So we'll do it again on the 23rd. And take plenty of antacids before we do it.
Oh my goodness, Kathleen wants to see your shorts.
Bailey got a hold of them. That's all that's left.
Oh my soul.
I'm so stupid. Oh, she wants to see Rich's shorts. Is that right? Oh, she's telling Rich that. I don't know. Oh, you know what? Damn, I almost forgot this. Does everybody know what today the anniversary is of today? God, I would have felt bad if I didn't. Shit. Okay, guys. Today is the 5th anniversary of the passing of Benjamin. I don't know. How do I play this now? Oh, that's just a picture. What's his name? Oh, let me get that. Okay. Let me see. Oh, it's not going to let me refresh web source. Nope. Shit. Kyle did a really nice video. It's one little minute short film. Let me see if I can find this. It's really good, and I want to share it. Here it is. Okay. Oh, you're up in heaven. All right, so let me take that all the way back. All right, so I'm going to share this screen again one more time. Let me get rid of that. Remove from. All right, share screen. I'm going to share. Yeah, there we go. Share, and I'm going to. Okay, y'all see that?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to play it. I'm going to play it. Excuse me. Well, I know you're up in heaven. I hope it doesn't kick me off. 'Cause I'd just be pretending if I said anything else. And I know God don't make mistakes, but this sure feels like one. Well, I know you're up. So that's just a nice little video he did, but I can't believe it's already been 5 years. That's freaking incredible.
Yeah, it's crazy.
What a loss. You can do the what ifs. Blocked? What was blocked? Was it blocked?
This is another public service announcement brought to you by...
It wasn't blocked here. Did it get blocked for anybody else? Did y'all see the whole thing? Blocked, Rick. Yeah, he did. There's so many pictures I've seen of him that looks so much like Elvis. If it got blocked, my screen would have gone out. Discord, we saw it. Yeah, they saw it. All right, so here, everybody, thanks, Olga, for reminding me. I want everybody to, for instant notifications for things, for updates about my channel and what we're doing, please join Discord and join us. I'm gonna be adding other stuff to it. If you haven't seen Brent's, check out Brent's. Join Brent's too. He's got a bunch of whole kind. I was going. He's got so much stuff on there, and I'm working on some different stuff. We're going to get back to the watch parties on watch-alongs on there too. We're going to be doing those like in the middle of the day now and then. It can't be every week because we gotta time that. But there's the link there. The link down. That's the code to scan. Or right now down in the description is the click link you could take to go straight to it and join it. So please join it. You'll get updates all the time. I've got almost 30 people now, so it's been nice to see a good response to that. So you should be able to. You just got to you just need to get your password all sorted out and your login stuff. I can't help you with that because there's no way I can. But I don't know if you have somebody that can help you with your computer, purple green. But you should be. I don't know any reason why you wouldn't be able to get into it unless. I don't know. I can't imagine they'd block you because you're in Australia. It just wouldn't make sense. But yeah, Kathleen's on for all three. Steve, mine, and I've also got a personal one that I'm doing too, but I'm not going to work on that for a little while until I figure out exactly what I want to do it. Yeah, perfectly. Do that, and I'd love to see you on there. And anybody can post stuff on there, post pictures, share things. And like I said, I will put notifications of what we got coming up. We'll play games. I put a little Find Elvis in this one scene. It was kind of cool. It's like Where's Waldo? This one's a Where Elvis. It's pretty cool. I don't know what else. You know any other stuff we've been talking about, Cam? We've got our schedule pretty much set. Y'all know about Trifecta Sunday, so I'm working on some graphics for that. We got the midnight.
We covered the inside the studio.
And I'm going to put on some stuff on the radio, some special event. I'll put notifications out for that, and I'll spread the times around. And I just want to pop in and do a live every now and then, just kind of like a call-in chat request to play some crazy stuff of Elvis. Just make an hour, and I'll just pop on there and I'll do a little bit of radio stuff. Welcome to Elvis Blue Moon Radio. This is Rick. Hope you're having a nice day today. We're going to crank up some Elvis here and listen to a little bit of Can't Help Falling in Love, baby. I can't wait to hear this back. Isn't it Trifecta Saturday? Yes, it is. Why did I say Trifecta something else? Saturdays are our Trifecta. Credit to Olga for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Trifecta. And then also too, I've got a few things. Wolfman Rick, that's good. I like that. That's a good one. So, and don't remember to share things with us. I got a few things I want to get shared, but I need to sort of. I just want to. I don't want to. I need to plan for that. So, some really cool stuff, and I've been going through some of my albums and going through, finding some things that I forgot I had. And some of the original records I bought when I was 18, 16, 15. I actually found my original Monkees records I bought in 1966, 67. The actual first two albums. I still got them. Creedence Clearwater's first 5 albums. I got the original still. It's a shame that I lost a bunch of my Elvis ones. I lost some other really good ones too.
Wow.
And they're all vinyl. Most of them are in pretty good shape. Some of the covers, the sleeves are shot a little bit. But I found 3 Moody Blue albums, 1 blue, 1 orange, and I forget what the other, I think the other one's just black. The blue one was I bought when it first came out. The other two my dad picked up later. I don't know what happened to his blue one, but it's kind of cool to come across those. I got to start playing my turntable more. I don't play it as much. Yeah, hey, we're the monkeys. Yeah, I used to play I'm a Believer when I was out playing. Loved them. Every Saturday morning, the Monkees. My favorite was Mickey. He's the only one left, too. It's a shame. Oh, did I say Sunday? Thanks, Olga. Yeah, definitely. I have some graphics out for it, in the next day or two. I'll put it on Discord, and I'll put it on. I'll probably make a little promo for it, too. Trifecta Saturday. I almost said Sunday again. I'll create a video similar to what I did for the promos for the radio station. Or maybe do some bloopers. Look what you're missing on the book chat. Inside the studio, Cam and I think it was our best one yet. Overall, we liked it. I mean, we've had some really good ones, but I think overall this one was there was just something special about it. Was If I Can Dream. And so, if you haven't seen it, watch it on the replay. It was really a lot of fun, and we had Rich with us, which made it even better. It's good to have our brother from another mother. Is that your Adam's apple talking, Rick? Nope. Checking to see what's there. When you're alto talking, isn't that like more bass?
Alto, no. Alto is up.
Yeah. I can't get that high. All right. Well, hey, everybody. We saw Mike Nesmith in concert once. He actually played hard live, much more intense than what I was expecting. Mike Nesmith was obviously the best musician. He was, Mickey had to learn the drums. I think Davey took a couple years to learn the maracas. Peter Tork was a musician before. But Mickey Dolenz had an incredible voice. I mean, he really had a great voice.
There's Jack. Jack's got a solution for you.
Tighter Underwear will give you an alto voice. Yeah, it probably would. That's. I don't even want to think about that. It's a good one. You guys are great. You guys had it was Jack had us laughing earlier, right? On all
Yeah.
that. Fucking hilarious.
Yeah. Jack has to write episode 2 for us.
Yeah, you got to start writing a script for us. We don't do scripted, but we'll kind of use it as highlight notes. Whose show is next? Because I'm jumping on my treadmill for 30 minutes. Whose show is next?
The poor treadmill. Don't jump on it.
Yeah. I don't even know. Falsetto like tenor. No, falsetto's higher. Falsetto's in your head register.
Yeah.
Yeah. Falsetto, Bee Gees sang a lot of songs in falsetto, like when they did the Saturday Night Live Fever song. Falsetto, you get into your head register. Tenor and soprano on that is the top. Soprano is the top of your register. And then you got to be like Elvis when he does Unchained Melody. He hits that falsetto at the end. He goes into his falsetto. He didn't really do a whole lot of falsetto. What's that one song he does when they're practicing? I can't remember the name of it. When they're all sitting around, he's doing almost like yodeling is falsetto.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to do falsetto. There was only one song I was ever able to hit my falsetto notes in. It was when I would do My Maria, because it would take you up and I'd have to hit that falsetto to My Maria. I'd have to, because I couldn't hit the high note, so I can go into. It allows you to be able to get into a higher note if you can get into your falsetto.
Yeah.
And you got to be strong with it, otherwise it'll sound like you're sitting on a pile of cats.
It cracks up. It cracks up if you're not strong with it.
Yeah, it doesn't sound good. Well, all right, guys, listen. We had fun. 2.5 hours of fun. Jack, thank you. You brought a lot of humor to this. the video gave us, it's nice just to take it lightly because the book chat today, I only meant to just bring up the lawsuit, and we wound up. I couldn't even get into the Colonel. I couldn't even talk about the Colonel. I was so over the Priscilla stuff in the interview. I'm glad nobody really wanted to carry it on through because it was just irritating. I just can't stand to watch liars, and it was just so obvious. Blatant liars. Good night, good morning. Adios. Bye. My treadmill is waiting for me. All right, guys. Hopefully you guys can join us tomorrow for our coffee date. Mainly book stuff. I might do a little bit of news. I'll try to put together a little bit better of a, not better, but more of a tribute to Ben. Just maybe a 2-minute little clipping of pictures and all that, and then maybe one little news item and maybe one trivia, and then we'll just kick it right into the book because that's where we go off the rails.
Hey, no, you guys are most welcome. Like we said earlier, you guys are the reason we do it. So
yeah, purple, green, red.
Thanks to you guys.
Yeah, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you, Jack. Look we still got 25, dude. Susan,
Helen,
Olga,
Rich,
and everybody.
Olga,
that
Kathleen, Val.
I think Renee was with us. Oh, that was this morning show.
Yeah, Renee was here earlier. Kirsty was here.
Oh, that's Val. That's right.
Yeah.
Here's my husband's phone. My battery is low. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Just
have a good
everybody.
night. I'm gonna eat some dinner and enjoy seeing and hearing from everyone. Sleep tight, and I'll see you tomorrow. Elvis-A-Z rocks. Thank you. And
Thank
we'll see. Hopefully, we'll see everybody tomorrow. If not, we'll catch you on the replay, or we'll catch you on the videos. Love you guys. TCB.
See y'all later.
Bye bye.